The sun beat down relentlessly on the vast desert landscape, casting shimmering waves of heat that danced over the horizon. This was no ordinary day in the arid wilderness. This was the setting for an intense trial where elite Navy SEALs would put their skills to the ultimate test. Rows of sandy hills and scattered rocks created a challenging course, one that demanded not only precision, but also endurance and mental toughness. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation and competition as the SEALs prepared for what lay ahead. As the day began, a sense of camaraderie mingled with rivalry filled the air. Each SEAL had trained for years, honing their marksmanship to perfection. They were accustomed to facing extreme challenges, but this trial was different. Today they would compete against a newcomer, a teenager whose reputation preceded him. Whispers about his talent circulated among the ranks, but many dismissed him as just another kid trying to make a name for himself. The competition would measure their ability to hit targets from long distances under immense pressure. With the sun blazing overhead, the SEALs set up their positions, each one focused and determined to prove their skills. They knew that each shot counted. One mistake could cost them not only points, but also their pride. The stakes were high, and they were ready to showcase their expertise. As they gathered around to discuss strategy and prepare their weapons, a mixture of skepticism and curiosity lingered in the air regarding the young sniper. Some exchanged knowing glances, while others chuckled at the thought of being outperformed by someone so much younger. Yet beneath their bravado lay an unspoken acknowledgement that talent could come from unexpected places. The trial was about more than just hitting targets. It was a test of grit and determination. Little did they know, this day would challenge everything they believed about age and skill in the world of elite snipers. The countdown began, and the stage was set for an unforgettable showdown in the scorching desert heat. As the SEALs prepared for the competition, whispers about the young sniper filled the air, creating an intriguing mix of curiosity and skepticism. His name was Jake, and at just 17 years old, he had made quite a name for himself in the shooting community. Raised in a small town where hunting was a way of life, Jake had grown up with a rifle in his hands. His father, a former military veteran, had taught him everything he knew about marksmanship, starting from the basics and gradually pushing him to excel. Jake's passion for shooting quickly became evident as he surpassed his peers in local competitions. By the age of 14, he was already winning state championships and attracting attention from marksmen all over the country. His dedication to training was unwavering. Every spare moment was spent honing his skills at the shooting range. He studied videos of expert snipers and learned from their techniques, always eager to improve. Motivated by his father's stories about Navy SEALs and their legendary skills, Jake dreamt of one day proving himself among the best. When he heard about this trial in the desert, he felt compelled to participate. Despite knowing it would be an uphill battle, he believed that this could be his chance to demonstrate that age didn't define talent or capability. As Jake stepped onto the sandy terrain, he took a moment to gather his thoughts. He felt both excitement and nerves bubbling inside him. The challenges ahead were daunting, but he had trained for this moment tirelessly. He was ready to show that he deserved to be there among seasoned professionals. With each step towards his designated position, Jake absorbed the sounds of the desert, the distant calls of wildlife and the wind rustling through the sparse vegetation. He reminded himself that this was not just a trial. It was an opportunity to prove that even a teenager could rise to extraordinary heights and change perceptions about youth in competitive sports. As the countdown to the competition began, Jake focused on his target, determined to make every shot count. As the trial approached, the Navy SEALs gathered, each one feeling a deep sense of pride about their reputation as some of the best marksmen in the world. The words Navy SEAL conjured images of elite warriors, known for their courage, precision, and resilience. They had undergone rigorous training that pushed them beyond their limits, mastering skills that few could rival. This day was not just another competition. It was a matter of honor for them. The SEALs understood the weight of expectations placed upon them. They had faced challenges in various climates and scenarios across the globe, often relying on their sharpshooting abilities to save lives. They knew that hitting a target meant not only achieving personal excellence, but also fulfilling a collective duty to uphold their esteemed legacy. As they stood in the sandy expanse of the desert, they were determined to show that their training had prepared them for any challenge. With each SEAL focused on their role, a sense of camaraderie prevailed among them. They exchanged light-hearted banter while preparing their weapons, but also shared an understanding that today's trial would not be easy. Seeing a teenager enter their field sparked mixed feelings. Some felt amused at the prospect of competing against someone so young, while others respected his ambition to join such a prestigious event. They were aware that Jake's presence could shift perceptions about young talent in competitive shooting. Some SEALs recalled their own youth when they first faced seasoned veterans, and the determination it took to rise through the ranks. This thought lingered in the back of their minds as they channeled their focus towards what lay ahead. As they took positions and readied themselves for the competition, they reminded each other of their shared goal: to perform at their best and emerge victorious. It was time to showcase that age and experience could prevail over youthful enthusiasm, but little did they know how fiercely Jake would rise to the challenge. The countdown echoed through the air, heightening the anticipation for what would become an unforgettable showdown between seasoned warriors and an aspiring champion. As the SEALs gathered for the trial, news of a teenager competing against them stirred up a mix of reactions. Some chuckled and exchanged skeptical glances, their voices laced with disbelief. 17? Really? One SEAL scoffed, shaking his head. What can a kid possibly know about this kind of pressure? The bravado among the seasoned fighters was strong, and for many, it felt absurd to consider that a teenager could stand shoulder to shoulder with them. They were veterans of countless missions, accustomed to life-or-death situations where every shot mattered. To them, a young boy seemed out of place in such an elite competition. Yet amidst the jokes and jibes, there were also murmurs of respect. A few SEALs remembered their own youthful days when they first faced off against older competitors. They knew firsthand how determination and relentless practice could make wonders happen. "Let's not underestimate him," one experienced SEAL cautioned. "He might surprise us." But even as they spoke these words, many still wore sly grins, half expecting to easily outperform someone who had barely left high school. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the playful mockery transitioned into more serious talk about strategies and expectations for the trial. The younger SEALs shared some light-hearted bets among themselves on how many rounds Jake would miss, or whether he could even keep up with their scores. The atmosphere was charged with an eagerness to show this newcomer what true skill looked like. However, deep down, each seal understood that Jake's presence added pressure. They were not just competing against him, they were also representing their storied legacy. The thought sparked a fire in some of them to prove that experience and training trumped youth every time. As they took their places on the firing line, the countdown began, but lingering doubts about underestimating a teenager loomed silently over their minds. Would they really be able to dismiss Jake as merely a kid? The sun blazed down on the desert as the competition kicked off, marking the first day of an eagerly anticipated trial. The targets were set at various distances, some as far as 500 yards away, challenging even the most seasoned marksman. The scoring system was straightforward. Each hit would earn points based on accuracy, with headshots receiving the highest score. The pressure was palpable as each competitor took their place on the firing line. Jake stood at his station, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. He took a deep breath, focusing on the targets ahead. The first series of rounds began, and one by one, the SEALs fired with confidence. The sounds of gunfire echoed across the open space, punctuated by the sharp crack of bullets hitting their marks. The seasoned shooters aimed with precision. Their years of training were evident in each calculated shot. However, as Jake took his turn, some SEALs watched with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. He lifted his rifle, adjusted his stance, and squeezed the trigger. The first shot rang out, and to everyone's surprise, it hit cleanly in the center of the target. Murmurs rippled through the group as he continued to shoot, hitting consistently closer to the bullseye with each round. While many SEALs hit their targets well enough, a few began to falter under the pressure. Jake's younger age seemed to give him an edge. He was relaxed and focused, embodying a sense of calm that even some of the veterans struggled to maintain. As scores were tallied between rounds, it became apparent that he was not just keeping up. He was outperforming several of the competitors. By the end of the day, Jake's tally revealed an astonishing count of headshots that had far exceeded the expectations set for a newcomer. Some SEALs exchanged amazed glances, while others felt their pride take a hit. The atmosphere shifted from laughter to stunned silence. It was clear that they would have to rethink their assumptions about this young sharpshooter. As night began to fall, anticipation grew for what tomorrow would bring in this fierce showdown between experience and youthful talent. As the first day of competition unfolded, the initial excitement quickly turned into tension among the SEALs. With each shot from Jake's rifle, their skepticism began to wane. The young sniper's impressive accuracy was hard to ignore. He not only hit his targets, but did so with a consistency that rivaled many of the seasoned competitors. The rhythmic crack of his shots echoed across the desert, drawing more eyes as the rounds found their marks time and time again. At first, the SEALs tried to maintain their bravado, laughing off the teenager's achievements. But with each passing shot, those chuckles faded, replaced by a palpable unease. They exchanged glances filled with disbelief as they watched Jake perform with calm precision, seemingly untroubled by the weight of expectations on his shoulders. "What's going on over there?" one SEAL muttered, barely hiding his concern as he glanced at Jake's growing score. With every round Jake fired that found its center in the target, frustration bubbled beneath the surface among the more veteran shooters. They had trained for years to hone their skills, facing missions that tested their limits. To watch a teenager surpass them unnerved them deeply. Some SEALs began to question their techniques and training methods, wondering if they had grown complacent in their routines while this young sharpshooter had executed flawlessly. The stakes felt higher now than when they had started. They realized that this competition wasn't merely about scores, it was about pride and reputation. As Jake continued to nail hit after hit, whispers of doubt filled the air. Could he really outshoot these trained warriors? Concerns shifted from light mockery to a serious realization that their standings were in jeopardy. As the final rounds approached for the day, tension reached its peak. Every shot became increasingly critical. The camaraderie that once filled the atmosphere began to tense, a competitive fire igniting among the SEALs as they tried to shake off their fears and focus on their own performances. With their legacy at stake, they steeled themselves for what would come next, as anticipation buzzed like electricity in the desert air. As the competition entered its final rounds, the atmosphere was charged with heightened anticipation. Jake had already proven himself capable, but it was about to be taken to a whole new level. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the firing range as the SEALs prepared for one of their most critical shots yet. An obstacle course that would test both speed and accuracy. With the crowd of fellow competitors and onlookers watching closely, Jake took his position alongside one of the most respected SEALs, a veteran known for his pinpoint accuracy and incredible focus. As the signal to start echoed across the range, the two shooters lifted their rifles simultaneously, each intent on claiming victory. In this pivotal moment, Jake fired off his first shot, hitting the target squarely with a resounding bang. The seasoned SEAL went next. His bullet struck true as well. The tension mounted as they continued to shoot through various targets, but where the SEAL displayed experienced precision, Jake displayed a remarkable fluidity in his movements. He was quick and precise. Then came the moment that would change everything. Both competitors faced a final target, set at an extreme distance, a challenge even for the most seasoned marksman. As they both took aim, Jake steadied his breath, feeling the weight of both focus and expectation. He pulled the trigger, and in that instant, the bullet sailed through the air to hit dead center in the target's head. A collective gasp erupted from the crowd. The veteran SEAL followed suit and fired, but instead of striking true, his shot fell short, a rare mistake for someone of his caliber. Shocked silence enveloped the crowd as Jake's successful headshot marked a turning point in the competition. Whispers filled the air. Disbelief washed over both competitors and observers as they realized this teenager had not only matched the seasoned SEAL's skills, but had outperformed him in a critical moment. The SEALs exchanged incredulous glances, grappling with newfound respect for Jake's abilities. Their doubts began to fade, replaced with respect for this young sniper who had defied expectations on that scorching desert day. The atmosphere shifted significantly. They had come to realize that their once secure pride now rested on tenuous ground within a sport they thought they dominated. As the competition drew to a close, the final scores were announced, and the atmosphere crackled with disbelief. Jake's tally was nothing short of astounding. He had tripled the headshot count compared to the best-performing SEALs, creating a ripple of shock among the seasoned marksmen. The crowd, once filled with playful banter and skepticism, fell silent as they processed what this young sniper had achieved. Jake's performance under pressure was remarkable. Each shot he took seemed effortless, showcasing not only his technical skills, but also his mental composure in a high-stakes environment. While the SEALs struggled with their nerves, knowing their reputation was on the line, Jake remained focused and calm, as if each shot was just another day at the range. His ability to maintain that level of concentration while facing off against elite competitors spoke volumes about his training and preparation. The final round was particularly intense. As each SEAL took their turn, they felt the weight of their expectations heavy upon them. They were aware that they were being compared to a teenager who had just come onto the scene. With every headshot Jake scored, murmurs of disbelief turned into whispers of admiration. The SEALs watched in awe as he made what seemed to be impossible shots, hitting targets that were marked for difficulty. When the scores were officially tallied, Jake's numbers were displayed prominently for all to see. 18 headshots compared to the highest SEAL score of just 6. Gasps echoed through the crowd, and even those who had mocked him earlier couldn't help but express admiration for his extraordinary achievement. This moment shattered preconceived notions about age and skill in competitive shooting. The SEALs began to realize that they had not only been outperformed by a teenager, but had also witnessed a transformative moment in the sport. As Jake stood amidst the applause and astonished looks from competitors, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment, not just for himself, but for anyone who dared to challenge stereotypes about youth and capability. The desert sun set behind them, marking the end of an unforgettable day where records were broken and perceptions changed forever. As the dust settled and the competition concluded, the SEALs gathered to process what had just transpired. The atmosphere buzzed with a mix of disbelief and admiration as they began sharing their thoughts about Jake's incredible performance. "I never expected him to be that good," one seasoned SEAL admitted, shaking his head in astonishment. "He's got skills that most adults would envy. We definitely underestimated him." Another SEAL, known for his competitive nature, felt a surge of rivalry, but also respect. "It's frustrating to see a kid come in and outshoot us," he said with a wry smile. "But at the same time, you have to give credit where it's due. He earned that respect today." As they reflected on the experience, many realized that their initial mockery had transformed into a grudging admiration for Jake's composure under pressure. The veteran who had faced Jake in the pivotal challenge couldn't hide his surprise. "I've been around long enough to know how rare it is to see someone shoot like that, especially at such a young age," he said, still processing the outcome. His focus was incredible. He didn't let anything rattle him. This acknowledgement of Jake's talent bonded the SEALs, turning their rivalry into a collective recognition of excellence. One younger SEAL summed it up succinctly. "Today was a reality check for all of us. It reminds me that there's always room to grow and improve." His words resonated with others as they shared stories of their own early days in training, when they too faced older competitors who challenged them. As they packed up their gear under the fading sunlight, there was an unmistakable shift in how they viewed not only Jake, but also the younger generation of shooters coming up behind them. They recognized that talent could emerge from anywhere, and age didn't dictate ability. With newfound motivation, the SEALs were eager to return to training, inspired by the reminder that greatness can come from unexpected places and sometimes from those who are just beginning their journey. The competition in the desert served as a powerful lesson for both Jake and the SEALs, illustrating the importance of skill, perseverance, and breaking down stereotypes. For Jake, this experience was more than just a victory. It validated his years of hard work and dedication to his craft. He learned that age does not define capability, and that with enough determination and focus, he could stand among seasoned professionals. The incredible pressure he faced only strengthened his resolve, showing him that he could thrive in challenging environments. On the other hand, the SEALs were forced to confront their own assumptions about youth and talent. Their initial skepticism about a teenager competing against them transformed into a profound respect for Jake's abilities. They realized that their experience did not make them invincible. Rather, it was essential to remain open-minded about emerging talent regardless of age. This realization prompted many SEALs to reflect on their own journeys and how they too had once been underestimated when starting out in their careers. The shift in mindset was palpable among the group. They understood that every competitor, no matter how young or inexperienced, brings unique strengths to the table. Jake's performance served as a reminder to them that skills could be honed at any age with dedication and practice. It encouraged them to appreciate different perspectives and learning styles that younger generations might bring. As they returned from the trial, the SEALs felt invigorated by this new understanding. Many expressed a renewed commitment to improving their own skills, while also fostering an environment where younger shooters could thrive without fear of dismissal due to their age. The competition had not only broken records, but had also built bridges between generations of marksmen. In essence, the experience underscored the idea that greatness can emerge from unexpected places, and that true mastery involves continuous learning and adaptation. Values both Jake and the SEALs would carry forward as they continued their respective journeys in marksmanship. The events in the scorching desert served as a turning point for both Jake and the Navy SEALs, fundamentally challenging their perceptions of age and capability in elite military training. Jake's impressive performance as a 17-year-old sniper showcased that talent is not confined by age. Rather, it can flourish through discipline, hard work, and unwavering determination. The SEALs, who initially viewed Jake with skepticism and amusement, found themselves re-evaluating their beliefs about youth and skill, experiencing firsthand how someone younger could outperform even the most seasoned veterans. This competition was not just about scores. It ultimately became a testament to adaptability and growth on both sides. The SEALs learned that while experience is invaluable, the willingness to embrace new perspectives is equally essential. They recognized that each competitor has unique assets to contribute, and that underestimating others based on age could lead to missed opportunities for learning and improvement. Moreover, the event fostered a sense of camaraderie among those who participated. The SEALs left with a deeper understanding of the sport and a commitment to share their knowledge while also remaining open to fresh ideas and approaches championed by younger generations like Jake. This mutual respect evolved into an acknowledgement that they could grow alongside emerging talents. In conclusion, the competition left an indelible mark on all participants. It shattered long-standing stereotypes, both in marksmanship and beyond, opening doors for dialogue about how skills can emerge from unexpected places. The power of perseverance was on full display as each shooter learned valuable lessons about determination, respect, and collaboration. As they moved forward in their respective journeys, whether as elite marksmen or aspiring snipers, the experiences from that challenging day in the desert would resonate for years to come, reminding everyone involved that greatness knows no age and can emerge in various forms.